views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and I hope to be here with you from now until 10 p.m. This is the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio, the voice of Nevis, 860 on your AM dial, www.vonradio.com, or, of course, as many people now view us, we are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. Every week we come here on a Wednesday for 2 hours of commercial-free talk radio. And the idea really is to allow our people a platform to engage with each other, to discuss ideas, and to really debate issues that we think are of importance to St. Kitts and Nevis, to the island of Nevis more specifically, to the wider Caribbean, and indeed to the world. And so I want to welcome one and all to the show, and to specifically welcome the people here in Nevis, those in St. Kitts, but also those who listen religiously throughout the Caribbean, those who are in North America, United States, Canada, those who are in the United Kingdom, and those who are listening from elsewhere. I especially am grateful to our listeners in the United Kingdom, because many of them stay up late into the night. It's a 4 or 5 hour difference at times to listen to the show, and I am truly grateful to them. It is a pleasure to be here. I consider it an honor to serve in this way, not only as the Premier of Nevis, not only as the leader of the great CCM party, but also as a commentator, somebody who comes and shares my ideas, and somebody who has created this platform with the assistance of VON Radio to have you share your ideas. I think that this show is a show that it is my hope will be remembered as a show that elevated the discourse in our country, that allowed us as a people to speak to each other, to engage with each other, to enter into dialogue, and to elevate the level of our conversation and our discussion. Those who follow this show over the last 2 decades would recognize that we have strong opinions. I have strong opinions. In fact, many of the callers have very strong opinions. We have guests who come from time to time, and we engage in a very rigorous way with each other. But I always advocate and say to our people, let us not be disrespectful. Let us not be disrespectful to each other. Let us not be disrespectful to the standards that VON has set here, where only the best will do. And let us, even when we disagree and disagree vehemently, let us not be disagreeable. And that for me is very important. It is very important because it speaks to who we are as a people. And for a long time I have been concerned, and I've expressed that concern time and time again here and in other fora, that there is far too much vitriol masquerading as politics. Politics is really supposed to be about ideas. Politics is supposed to be about offering yourself for service, and to say, as you offer yourself for service, what exactly you are proposing to do. Our politics, unfortunately, is often characterized by crassness, a certain base level of engagement where all people do is cuss. And I have oft said that cussing has never solved a problem yet. It has really never solved a problem. And I find that a lot of times the cussing is coming from a place where there are no ideas. It's like an empty barrel, just clanging, making noise, because there are no ideas. If those who are engaged in that level of vitriol had ideas, if they had something that they could share with the people of Nevis, if they had the ability to say, well, I don't agree with Mark Brantley and his government, we suggest this as the alternative. But that's not happening. And I challenge anyone out there to tell me otherwise. I'm a student of the politics. I'm in the politics. I pay attention to the politics. I've immersed myself in it. And there is no alternative being offered to the people of Nevis. It is so bad that the opposition party in Nevis, I oft remind everyone, ran an entire campaign, an entire election without a manifesto. They made not one promise, not one commitment did they make to the people of Nevis. They campaigned, and the entire campaign was framed thus: we're fed up with them, get rid of them. And I keep saying to our people that we fed up with them and get rid of them sounds catchy. It may even have ignited the passions in some base quarters. But at the end of the day, what problem does it solve? How does it move Nevis forward? Does it help us in terms of healthcare or education or our infrastructure? Does it build the airport? Does it help to complete the hospital wing at the Alexandra Hospital? Does it advance housing, jobs, the economy? If in response to young people coming out of school looking for work, your answer is get rid of them, we're fed up with them. Government, what are you doing to expand the economy? Get rid of them, we're fed up with them. I'm a single mother of 3, I need a house. Get rid of them, we're fed up with them. How do you generate jobs in the country? Get rid of them, you hear me? We're fed up with them. That becomes a response to every problem. And all I'm saying, because I do think that people on the other side have some capacity. Many of them say they have PhDs and master's degrees and bachelor's degrees and A-levels and O-levels, and some have all kinds of qualifications. Well, for God's sake, put those qualifications to work and demonstrate to our people that you offer something that goes beyond vitriol, that goes beyond cussing people. And I keep asking for that over and over. Some fellow called me the other day and said to me that he was having a conversation, and the response that he got from the other side is that they don't want to share their ideas because the government is going to steal their ideas. And this person said to me they thought it was a most ludicrous statement to make. I don't want to tell you what I plan to do for Nevis if I get into government, because the existing government is going to steal the idea. Well, if you say you're going to build a gas station, that is your plan, and the government goes ahead and builds a gas station, well, to me, that is the best form of flattery. All you do is stand up, you beat your chest and say, imagine, they're using my ideas. Well, how much more would I be able to do if I were in government? But I said to the person, you know, I said it is also a convenient excuse. You know, back in the day when you did not do your homework, because you didn't understand the sum, you couldn't really figure out the comprehension, and so you didn't do the homework. You go to school and you tell the teacher the dog ate your homework. It becomes an excuse because you have not done the work, you do not have the ideas. And that, I think, is the problem that we have here. You have some people who are anxious to get into government. Get into government for what? And I can answer that. They're getting into government because government is their last resort. They have no business, they have no profession, they have nothing. Government for them represents their last resort. This is a level of desperation that has set in. Some of them are approaching that proverbial 70 and are still out there fighting. What are they fighting for? When most people get to that age, they start to slow down, they start to do other things, they start to engage in other pursuits. It's what some people refer to as the golden years. You're now retired. You have lived a life, you have toiled, you're now retiring, but instead of that, some of them cranking up at 70. Then why do you think they're cranking up? Because they feel they have the energy to build Nevis? No, they're cranking up because they want to get their hands on the treasury. That is all. And I say it because it is true. We have one of them, for example, who ran against me several times and lost until he was declared null and void by the court. And I was shocked to learn that he was a contender for the senatorial position for the NRP, not to make a contribution to Nevis, not to help to develop ideas to push the island forward. No, He was a senatorial candidate, apparently preferred by the leader of NRP for the sole reason that he wanted to get some more years in the parliament to secure a pension. Imagine that. That tells you all you need to know. That was not about you. That was about him. So you must seek to put him in a position so that he can secure pension for himself. But what about you? What about the pension for you? What about the job for you? What about your future? What about securing something for you? You say public service should be all about you. But we have some who are parading around and for whom it's all about self and not a thing there about you. All of self and none of thee. That to me ought to be their motto. So when I look at some of them, well past their prime, and they're oh man, it's like some rabid dogs, the way that they carry on, they're anxious, they're cussing. I can't even put up a picture of me in my garden. I can't say good morning and blessed Sunday. My wife and I can't go to church and someone takes a photo and it's posted to social media. Because I assure you, it will attract the wrath and the ire of these people. And you look at them, and I mean no discourtesy, this is just fact. You look at them, and when you examine them one by one, two by two, three by three, you come to the same conclusion. The only thing at which they have excelled is failure. Nothing else. Look at them. Nevisians are not unkind people. In fact, we're most charitable. So look at them through the most charitable eyes and ask yourself why, at this age, some are still so gravelicious and so anxious and so vitriolic. What are they fighting for? You think they're fighting for you? I assure you they're not. And the evidence is all around us. Some people, because they're blinded by whatever they're blinded by, their own personal failure, their own rage against somebody, because some people vex with you for no other reason than they see in you something that they lack in themselves. And I say that because it is true. Some people are upset at you for no reason other than they see in you something that they lack in themselves. They vex with you because God has blessed you in some way. And sometimes when they vex with you, they're not counting their own blessings. It reminds me of the story of the dog with the bone. The dog is walking across the pond, walking across the bridge, that bridges the pond with a juicy bone. Looks across, sees its own reflection in the water below of a dog with a bone. And you know what it did? Drop its bone and rush into the water to try to get the bone from the other dog. Same is true of the old parable about a bird in the hand being worth two in the bush. The situation is that you have some people who, rather than they count their own blessings, that they woke up this morning, that they're in good health, that God has blessed them, that they have shelter, they have food, they have clothing. No. They rather spend their time looking at their neighbor and figure that their neighbor somehow has it better than them. It may not be true, you know, because all that glitters isn't gold. But too many of such people are consumed with minding other people's business, looking at other people, and sometimes you're minding the man's business so much you forget to mind your own. You're peeping out the window so much to try to figure out what your neighbor cooking that your own pot burn up. And that happens. And I'm saying to our people, it need not to. And what I find happens in our politics, you know, people use their personal rage because they're upset about something. They are dissatisfied with their own life and where they have arrived at in life. And I can tell you, it becomes more acute the older you get. Because as you get older, you now know that you have fewer years ahead of you than behind you. you now know that you're in that final furlong. That is just the nature of life. All of us, if we are lucky, we get there. In my mid-50s now, I am firmly with my foot on that road. I remember a time when I was young, 20 years ago, full of vim, vigor, and vitality on the campaign trail. The sheriff. Now I am more mature. I hope more statesman-like. But that is the nature of life. And too many of us have got to a stage when rather than the wisdom of the years, rather than saying to ourselves that we are grateful to God for all that God has done for us, we spend all of our time fighting with other people, trying to drag down other people, saying all kinds of things about other people. And I ask the question, why? Now, when you have cursed Mark Brantley, you have cursed Eric Evelyn and Spencer Brand, you have cursed whoever you want to curse in the name of politics. You think that that affects their ability to go about their life? You think that affects whether they eat, or whether they sleep, or whether they're healthy? You see, it is God who runs the world, not man. Sometimes those of us who are in some position feel that we have some power. What power? It is also fleeting. I saw a very disturbing video recently of a young woman in Barbados, told she was only 35 years old, the head of the fisheries there. And if the video is correct that I saw, she was actually standing up giving a speech. And in the course of giving her speech, she fell down dead. So what is it that we are fighting over? Because that is how fleeting life is. That's it. It's a mere whisper, a tendril of smoke. And some of us, the way we're going on, I wonder sometimes if we don't know that all of us have ultimately to meet that inevitable end. And it will come when it will come. It seems to me quite strange that men should fear that inevitable end, because it will come when it will come. That's just the nature of things. So we spend so much time attacking people, cussing people. And then when you look at those who are doing the attacking and the cussing, you start to say, well, it is really true what they say, that nobody stones an empty mango tree. It is really true what they say is that people look at people who they feel are successful, have a full life, are doing something with themselves. Those are the people that they attack. I heard somebody say recently that he has never been attacked by somebody who was better off than he was. And I thought that was interesting. It is always somebody who seems to be consumed with envy and wants to somehow bring you down. And I'm saying, why? There's room for everybody to come up. You don't have to drag somebody down. You can aspire to go up and let everybody come up. And oh, what a joy it would be to see a St. Kitts and Nevis where our focus in public life, in private life, our focus in our families and our communities was to pull people up, not drag people down. It hurts me when I hear people talk about crab in a barrel mentality, and black people have this mentality, and we see it all the time. These may not be things that we want to talk about, but they are the truth. You look at other nationalities that come here. I will pick out the Chinese, not picking on them, but I'm just using it for illustration. And they set up their businesses, and we don't think twice about patronizing their businesses. We don't think twice about spending our money with them. But when the local fella from Brick Hill, when the local fella from Zion set up his business, you start to say, oh, he thinking this and he thinking that. Me not go spend my money with he. You think them me I go make them the rich, not me. But you have no problem making somebody else rich that you don't know. And that, unfortunately, is a story of too many of us. that our lives are consumed with trying to drag down each other. Now, I'm a politician and I understand politics and I understand there has to be opposition in the country. I was in opposition once. But even in opposition, when I was there, I sought to engage in opposition on the basis of ideas. You want to, on the same lands in the South Coast, build what you say is the largest fuel dump in the world, in the Caribbean, I'm sorry. I think that's a bad idea. And I say why I think it's a bad idea. That's a debate about ideas. It's not opposition for the sake of opposition. It is opposition saying that there is an alternative way. And unfortunately, we seem to be losing that. Not because of a lack of capacity to engage in it. Because I say with all them degrees, I don't expect the universities who are just giving them out. It's a lack of willingness and the base motivation that many have. Because a lot of people come and they have honey dripping from their lips while they tell you how much they love you. But when you really examine it, you realize they have no love for you. They have a love of themselves. And they want to get into office so that they can fulfill whatever self-aggrandizement that they need to make them feel like somebody. And I'm going to say it because it is true. A lot of people want to have a title so that they can feel that they're somebody, because in and of themselves they don't feel fulfilled. And maybe that's one of the things some people don't like about me, because I feel fulfilled when I go up by Mems and I sit down and I chat with Mems. I feel fulfilled as I go up the hill by Sandy or I go down the range by Bongo. I feel fulfilled if I go there in Craddock Road and sit down with Ulrika and chat with her. I also feel fulfilled if I go to Buckingham Palace and I sit with King Charles. Or if I go on a yacht, since I went on a yacht the other day, that created such a scandal, it seems, in some quarters. Or if I go on a plane, I feel fulfilled if I'm flying first class and if I'm flying economy class. Because I am fulfilled in myself. I don't need any outward trappings to make me feel fulfilled. And that's a level of peace. That's a level of accomplishment that I think a lot of us need to work towards. Because too many of us are anxious. Blood pressure, hypertension, all kind of things happening to us. Because we sit at home every day. We're there all night. And we're not thinking about how we can advance ourselves. We're not thinking about how we can better our circumstances, how we can contribute in a positive way. We're thinking about how we can destroy somebody else. And sometimes the more you dwell on destroying your brother man, is the more God blesses your brother man. And that is just the reality of life. So for those of you out there who's spending all your time cussing, especially if you're cussing me, you might as well stop, because I don't even play like I hear a glass bottle break. You cussing me is like wasting your time, because it's just water off a duck's back. I really am not concerned. I'm concerned with people who have legitimate ideas, who want to share ideas. That's what I'm concerned about. I have been in a political space here in this country that cost me, that cost my wife, that cost my children. And anybody who knows my wife and my children know that they do not get involved in the politics. They're not commenting on social media. They're not calling to radio stations. They just want to live their lives as they are entitled to. I'm the politician. I tell people all the time, you want to come, you're feeling froggy, leap, come for me. Because I know that I can handle you. So if you want to come, come for me. Like the song say. Whoever want to come, come. Because it's going to be pong for pong and blow for blow. That's the way it works. But why are you going after people's families? And the thing that bothers me is when you go after people, I wonder sometimes when I hear them talking, I hear the comments that are made. And I say, but these people don't know that Nivisions know them. They don't know that Nivisions know them. It is because the CCM is a decent party. One of the things I will always say about Vance Amry and his legacy is that Vance always said to us, don't get yourselves involved in certain things. You realize on our platform certain things are not said. Not because we don't know, not because we don't have information. We know and we have the information, but we feel that public life ought to concern itself with how you help people, how you advance the country. That is what public life ought to be about. Not who could cuss the best and say the worst things about the other person. Because if we go down that road, well, everybody has skeletons in their closet. Some of them I hear cussing me. I say, Lord Jesus, give me strength. Give me strength. Because if the Henley part of Brownhill were to come out, and I were to start to say the things that I know, not that I think, the things that I know, it's going to be hell to pay the priest. And so, we ask for strength and we ask for grace. We ask the Lord to forgive our own sins and indiscretions as we try to forgive others who have sinned against us. That is the Christian way. But sometimes when these people are talking, and I look at them, and if you don't laugh, you would cry, you know. People who are telling you that they can do this and do that and do the other for you when they have not demonstrated in all of their life that they can do it for themselves. It's a remarkable thing. I can create jobs for you, but you can't create one for yourself because you have not worked in so many years. Is it that you're allergic to work? Because there's work in Nevis, work galore. Work aplenty. People are coming into the island in droves, finding meaningful employment. So why it is some of you have not worked? But you keep telling the visions, put me into office. Put you into office to do what? It's not to take care of them. It's to take care of you. And therein lies the dilemma. As we talk about politics, if we talk about ideas, we discuss what to do, how to do it. Therein lies the dilemma. Now, let me segue from that and to say that I spent some time on the last show talking about the price of electricity. And I want to say to the people of Nevis that I know, I hear, I feel, I understand what you are dealing with. I appreciate that people are concerned that the price of electricity has surged from what it was to what it now is. I have committed publicly that we are monitoring the situation, and as soon as we can, where savings are realized in terms of the global market, we will pass those savings on to our consumers. In the meantime, we're asking our consumers to be prudent, sensible, and responsible, and to find ways to lower their consumption of electricity, which will lead to a lowering of the electricity bill. Nevlec, our utility, has in fact already put out a number of ideas, a number of recommendations and suggestions that people can employ to lower the electricity bill. But I hear you. I understand. But I have always tried to lead this island and tried to conduct myself in my public life in an open and transparent way. I've always come to the people and said to the people, if there's good news, this is the good news. And if there's bad news, this is the bad news. And the truth is that the state of the world today, there is a lot of bad news. This war in Iran, not started by us, but which has been continuing for some time. Iran's response by attacking her neighbors in the Gulf and in the Middle East, by closing the Strait of Hormuz, that critical artery for global trade, particularly global trade in petrol, fuel, diesel, oil, and all its various iterations, and the economic hardship that that has caused to all of us. I saw very early on in that war, the Philippines declared a national emergency, a national energy emergency. And it is true that it took some time to trickle down to you and I here in Nevis, because the government was doing its best to shield every household, and we've done so for the last 4 years, from any fluctuations in that fuel price. I am cautiously optimistic that with efforts on the way to bring a permanent closure to that war, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and allow trade to recommence, we are hopeful that the oil-producing nations can once again ratchet up their production so that global production can get back to what it was, that we will see a downward pressure on fuel prices. And we have committed as a government that when that happens, you, the people of Nevis, will get the benefit of that downward pressure. And that is what we are seeking to do at this stage. Having cushioned the effects for so long, we said that we could not carry that cushion any further. Not that we don't understand, not that we don't empathize, because all of us are in this together. But we are saying to our people, please hold strain with us, because when things turn around, you will know, because you will see the reduction in your bills. I have every confidence that NEVLEC and the government that I lead, that we continue to do all that we can, despite the challenges, to deliver to our people quality service, reliable service, and at a cost which our people can afford. And so I'm urging our people to pay attention to the suggestions and the tips. Let us work together to reduce our consumption and, by extension, our cost of electricity. We will get through this together, just as we got through COVID-19 together. By pulling together, looking out for each other, we will prevail. That is the Nevisian way. That is the Nevisian spirit. And so I ask you to hold strain. All of us are in this together, and all of us will come out of it better, stronger. So let us collectively pray that these efforts to end this tragic war in Iran, that they bear fruit, that the Strait of Hormuz can be reopened, that oil production can get back to what it was, and that we will be the beneficiaries of lower cost of fuel. In the interim, we continue to press forward with renewable energy, and more specifically geothermal. I'm advised that the drillers want to mobilize as quickly as August, and that the site there in Hamilton will be the site of the 3 production and 2 reinjection wells. We have signed the contracts with Icelandic Drilling, and we are again optimistic that we can move this forward at pace. We have had some issues in relation to some lands in the area. I'm advised by my team today that those issues have been resolved, and really it's just now time for us to settle those matters and move forward. I'm hopeful that we can do so, and that the people of Nevis and the people of St. Kitts, because we have agreed, federal government and NIA, to cooperate with each other and to work hand in hand to realize the potential of geothermal for the benefit of the entire country. And so the people of St. Kitts can look forward to getting cheap, renewable energy from Nevis. That is our effort. That is the effort that Prime Minister Drew and I, as the Premier, agreed upon. And we will, with the grace of God, deliver for the people of our country. If we can deliver on this, the impact will be so profound. It will be transformative. It will change our country forever, and it will change it forever for the better. You and I will no longer be concerned about what the price of oil is, because we would have weaned our electricity generation entirely off fossil fuels. You and I will no longer be watching the television to find out where there is the next eruption of hostilities, because we live now in a world where it seems war and rumors of war are the order of the day. Some who are religious will tell you that it is the end of times and that Revelations, that book of Revelations, is coming to pass. We who are here must do the best that we can. And this island of Nevis, I can assure you, has sober, sensible, mature leadership. And that is what we need at these times of difficulty. We need a steady hand at the wheel. Not every decision will be agreed to. Not every decision will have consensus. We live in a democracy after all. And if there's one thing that every true democracy has, it is dissent and disagreement. But the majority of us, looking at this island, loving this island, this land of our birth, can certainly seek to do what we can to push it forward. Ever forward, never backwards. And that has to be our collective effort. Now, as a politician, I recognize that I have fewer years ahead of me than behind me. I've been doing this now for 20 years. And we have young people who are coming through, to whom the mantle must be passed, to whom the baton must be passed. That is just the nature of life. I've said here time and time again that the role of each of us is to spend that time that God gives us on the stage called life, to make our contribution. And then we must have the grace to exit that stage, leaving it better than we left it. Then we met it, and for the benefit of those who come after. The problem sometimes is that some of us get on the stage and we start to feel the stage belongs to us. We overstay our welcome. Well, I've pledged not to do that. And so we are already in the CCM looking to the future, grooming young men and women who are committed to service. And I believe that is the way we ought to go. When I looked at my CCM team, and I say my because I'm in a position now as the lead of the team, but we know CCM belongs to all of us, so maybe I should say when I look at our CCM team, and I look at how Tutmun Saman Bagay came and worked on Father's Day for that wonderful event we had at the Villa Grounds. The fathers came out. I see fathers getting pedicure, massage. We ate, we drank, we danced, we commingled, we talked, we played dominoes, we got massages, we got pedicures, we won prizes. Some people won $150 gas voucher, some won massages, some won dinners at various restaurants. We had a wonderful time with the fathers of Nevis, and I thank them for coming out. I pray that they had a wonderful Father's Day. But beyond that, when I looked at the team and how everybody chipped in, everybody worked. I was on the barbecue grill. On my left was another barbecue man. On my right was a third barbecue man, and we kept the food flowing. You had other people where there was a goat water, the stewed pork, the rice and the vegetables and the salad. We had a good time. And to my mind, that is how Nevis ought to be. Celebrating our people. Spending time with each other. Not fighting, not fussing, not attacking, but spending time with each other in a way that uplifts us all. Everybody would have left that Father's Day event having ate, having drank, having enjoyed themselves, and having spent a good Father's Day with us. And ultimately, that is what we wanted to achieve. And so when I looked at the team and I saw the team worked, the men and women of CCM, sleeves rolled up, doing what we do, serving the people of Nevis, I was well pleased. And I thank God for a successful event, and again thank all those who came out and participated in our Father's Day Fair. We will continue in that vein of service, of lifting up our people, of seeking always to elevate what we do, how we interact, how we engage with each other. That is our way. When we say people matter most, it's because we say it and we mean it. It is the central vein. It is what runs through the very heart of what the CCM does. People matter most. And yes, some people say, well, you didn't do enough for me. But we ask all of our people to look around this island. Look around. Look at the efforts that are being made to care for our people, to care for our elderly, whether it's in the flamboyant home or in their own homes. Do you know that in Nevis we have people who go around to homes where there are people who are elderly or people who need care and tidy up their homes for them, plait their hair for them, provide a meal for them? Do you know that we have a seniors program that is the envy of the region? Where our seniors are playing pan, having senior pageants, engaging with the youth in the schools. Do you know that we provide health daycare assistance for those households that need that help, recognizing that those early years of a child's life are so critical for that child's growth and development? Do you know that we assist persons with groceries? We assist persons who are having issues finding housing. We provide scholarships, opportunities for education for our children, laptops in school, devices to our children. We do all this because we put people at the epicenter of what we do. Not because we are rich, not because as a government we have lots of money, because we don't. But the money that we do have, we put it to work for the benefit of our people. And if you're out there listening to me, whether you're in the Caribbean region or you're elsewhere, ask yourself, in your own country that you live in, for those of us in the diaspora, in your adopted homes, how many of these services do you have available to you? Because they're available right here in Little Nevis. And so oftentimes I hear some criticize and say, Nevis this and not go on. And I say to them, let us be grateful for what we have and what we've achieved together. Let us be grateful and give God thanks for all that we have achieved thus far and ask Him to strengthen us to achieve more in the future, rather than using our time to attack and to belittle. I spoke to someone from Dominica some time ago who had come here and whose family members had come and who said to me that more family members were on their way. And the person, when I spoke about how they were enjoying it here, the person said, Nevis nice. He said the only people who talk bad about Nevis are Nevisians. And that really struck me. It hit me to my core. That was a punch to my solar plexus. Because for someone who has come to this island to make that observation that the only people talking bad about Nevis are divisions. The people who should be praising us, lifting us up. When the Jamaicans say no, we're better than Yard. That is how they express themselves, to say no place better than Jamaica. And you have some here in Nevis who all they could do is tell people how bad things are, how difficult and terrible things are. And while they're busy saying how bad and terrible and difficult things are, others are flocking in from around the region and around the world, buying land, building house, starting business, and working 2 and 3 jobs. The very jobs that we say here we don't want, others are coming in and saying, I will take that and give me that one there too. They're earning. They're earning. They're hustling. And we are sitting back complaining. And are first in line to bash the land of our birth. We don't have any other land. And so I urge our people, listen, let's take stock. Let's put aside a lot of the foolish roar and rah-rah. Let's start to discuss ideas. Let us get to a point where we start to debate how do we move Nevis forward. And for God's sake, let's stop with the lies. Every morning you wake up, there's a new crisis. There's new breaking news in Nevis. And you know who is breaking the news? People who now walk nowhere. They're breaking news because they don't have a thing to do when morning break, but break news. They don't have anything that is productive happening in their lives. So every day is breaking news, is some scandal, and so much of it is just fabricated. I talk about it all the time because the fabrication was so good it had me and all going when they said that the Ivor Walter School was infested with cockroaches and had been shut down. I call the principal, I'm not ashamed to say, because the biggest cockroach you may ever seen in my life is the cockroach the man put on Facebook. When I took the picture of the cockroach and I put it, they say it's a German cockroach. The man didn't even get an Antiguan roach. The man didn't go Cairn and get a roach from Cairn. The man went all the way to Germany and get a roach look like it went through World War I, II, and just get away from Iran. A wicked looking roach. That's the roach the man say that Ivor Walters is infested. I say, oh my God, how could this have happened? I call up the principal, Mr. Brantley, what are you talking about? The children are now having their lunch in the same lunchroom that they say is infested with cockroach. We are here comfortable. There's nothing happening at Ivor Walters. And I was stunned. I said, my God, how could people just lie? Just make up something. Just get up in the morning and say, what will I lie about today? And I felt bad because the lie catch me too. Somebody sent me recently where one of them is attacking me, because that's what they do morning, noon, and night, attack me. And say that I am hiding the fact that the Four Seasons Resort has been sold and it's going to be closed for months. Now I knew that was nonsense. But the reason why I mention it is because so many people started to call me and tell me how much anxiety they had. This thing was bothering them. And I had to say to them, but again, just something that somebody make up. I heard a clip recently and somebody is going to town, said Destiny going to build a 14-foot wall. Around 2,000 something acres of land, they're going to wall themselves off. And I said, Lord Jesus, help us. Help us, Father. That we may not have a spirit of lies and deceit. So. Then I see some other headline. Oh, Mark Brantley signed an agreement that only 5% of the jobs going to go to divisions if Destiny were to happen. Now I saying to myself, I'm a division. My navel string. My mother even didn't have money to carry me to born me in hospital. She born me right there in Scarborough. Right on them 4 stones in that little chattel house that we had. My navel string buried in Nevis. The people of Nevis have reposed their trust and confidence in me to lead them at this time. And I'm going to go and sign an agreement that limits the number of jobs that Nevisians can get. Me? Orvin and Vicky's son? Well, after I didn't go August school, be buried here. Maybe they could reunite me with my navel string. And so, having made those choices in my life, am I now at a stage where I'm going to sign an agreement or agree to something where Nevisians are limited in this their own country? But people say these things and people run with them. Like I said, just make up one lie after the next. Just wake up in the morning and say, what am I going to say today? Oh, I'm only surprised that the wall is only 14 feet. I think, knowing the propensity to lie and to exaggerate, they should have said 20 feet. 14 feet sound a little low to me. Just rubbish, absolute, abject rubbish. And people out there feeding on it and reacting to it. And I'm just urging our people, listen. You have reposed trust and confidence in me and in the CCM for a reason. You see value in us. You see truth. You see maturity. You see leadership in us. And if we tell you that this is a position, you can take it to the bank. Because we have never had, as a party, as leadership, any inclination or any reputation of being dishonest with the people of Nevis. That has simply been the way it has been for us. Good news we come and we're happy. Bad news we come and we're sad, because we're all in this thing together. So again, but if you have no ideas to offer the people of Nevis, going back to where I started, you have no plans and programs to offer the people of Nevis, then you can only resort to making stuff up. And that, regrettably, is the hallmark of our opposition in Nevis. They just make it up. So yesterday was a German cockroach, big like my head. And Ivor Walters is shut down because of a roach infestation. Of course, I'm the one who caused it, because them cost me too. Today, it is Destiny's going to have a 14-foot wall around the property. And only 5% of the jobs are going to go to Nevisians. As if those who are making those claims think that we are some kind of puppy show, jokey government, and not a serious government, which in serious times is seeking to pay serious attention to get results for the people of Nevis. And so I urge again our people, listen, when you hear wayward talk, because sometimes I think it was Paul Keynes Douglas who say in the Caribbean, when you hear once upon a time, tin tin, you know it's a story time that's coming. Maybe sometimes they should say once upon a time. Before they start to chat foolishness, they should just say once upon a time, so you know that what is being said is not true. But lie after lie after lie, from cockroach infestation to Four Seasons closure to 14-foot wall to 5% is what, and I could go on and on. And still they keep coming. And what alarms me is that people still seem to listen and to pay attention. But perhaps the people who are listening and paying attention are hearing what they want to hear. And so it doesn't matter that the truth is not in them. They're telling you what you want to hear. They're feeding into your own insecurities. And as a consequence of that, you feel happy with what you're hearing, even though it's a lie. So, my view, ladies and gentlemen, let's get beyond that. Let's leave those nattering nabobs of extreme negativity, and let us move forward with positivity, with positive energy, and let the love of this country, the love of this island that we all call home, let that drive us forward to do the best that we can with the time that God allows us on the stage. That's my soliloquy. I will open the lines now and take your calls. It is 5 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock, and we are here again until 10. Before I do that, let me express my condolences to my friend family of my friend Nana Liebert. Everybody knew as Nana. She has passed on. I want to say to her children that I extend my deepest condolences to them. Nana was a stalwart of the CCM party. Nana was a stalwart in the community. She was loved by all. I've never heard a person say a bad thing about her. And she will be missed. So from all of us here at Von Radio, from myself as the host of this show, from my own family, I want to extend deepest condolences to the family of Miss Liebert, whom we have lost, and to pray and hope that she's in a better place and that the family will take comfort knowing that we're praying for them and that the prayers of the multitude will comfort them in this, their time of bereavement. Now let us open the lines and see who wants to talk to us. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Miss Sherry.
Good evening, my dear.
Proverbs 16, verse 6, 7, and 8. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. When a man ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemy to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenge without right. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you every week for bringing to us a scripture of your choice. We're going to continue to take calls at 869-469-1616 and 1700. Each week, at the point where I start to take calls, I encourage people to call in. What we find is that we have a lull, and then towards the end of the show, everybody's trying to get in, and then people call me the next day and say, oh, I couldn't get in, as if somehow I barred them from getting in. So I'm just encouraging folks, listen, if you get the opportunity, as you have now, call in, share your views and opinions, let us know what it is you have to say, and spend the time, because it then gives you a bit more time to develop your arguments. So I encourage you, if you're out there and you have something to say, to use the opportunity really and to call in and share your views and opinions with us. This is On the Mark, and we're taking your calls. Good evening, you're On the Mark.
Yeah, good night. One thing I want to say is I do not like how the undertaker them do the Bengong Yard in Jalan. They trying the doctor and them find the dead people them, and that is not right. The Jonan digger well, and they had some that inside that them shut them down. I believe they can go down in the other piece of going below where nobody there is. They trying the doctor cover the dead them, and all the 2 months old them are shot that pan, and that is not right. That is my part of it. I want to hear what you're going to have to say.
Thank you very much for that. I can't say very much because it's not something that I'm aware of. The undertakers that we have in Nevis are all very experienced. We have Hunkins that has been there for a long time. We have Elliott Funeral Home that's been there for a long time. We have a newcomer as well, Oali I think they're called. And they all know what they're doing. So I'm surprised to hear you say that they're not doing it properly.
I don't know what they do because they cover them.
Well,
and when my nephew come in and say that he want to be anti-grave and then don't cover them down.
Also, when you say you're covering the dead, you mean they're covering graves that are already existing?
They name there and me too. More of the grave. This very area. And then don't cover them down, you can't drop back down already.
Okay.
It's me, build up the grave.
Okay.
And he told me he come down 2 weeks ago, he was here. So he want to go to he anti-grave because he anti-realm. And he want to go to me grave. Now he come, then don't cover him over with that.
I see. Okay. Now I understand what you're saying. Okay. Well, it's a matter.
Then I do the dot one. Them I do some of the tomb I done tomb too.
Covering those as well?
Tomb grave. They need to stop them kind of stupidness there. First, Ginger man want another piece of Bengal. Much man would have a piece of Bengal that you want. Boston books left. You need to get piece of the land and do Bengal. Because people they must take dig work and then dip it on them now, and then still I put dead on them. That is not right. Okay, good night.
Okay, my dear. Okay. I'm just listening to you here. I wasn't aware, as I said, of that issue. You raise another issue, though, and that is the question of the grave sites around the island, the government sites in particular. That is why I've explained we purchased some land here at Bath Cemetery, just above, because we're saying we want to have the capacity to expand the cemetery. So it's rather interesting the point you raise. I'm not sure there's any room in Gingerland for an expansion of that, but it is something that we must look at because we always want to be respectful to the memory of those who have passed on. Let's go back to the phones. It is now 9 o'clock and we're taking your calls. Good evening, you're on the mark. Caller, please call back in. Or let's try again. Is that the phone? Is that somebody's on? No? Callers, the numbers are 869-469-1616 and 1700. If you want to be a part of the show, we are urging you to call in. And those are the numbers to call and to connect you. So let's try again. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hello, good night.
Good night to you.
Brantley.
How are you?
I'm well.
Yes.
You and how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
You had a nice Father's Day?
I did. Grateful to be alive, and we had a wonderful Father's Day.
Okay, that's lovely. Okay, my scripture reading tonight is from James, chapter 1, and I'm reading verses 5.
Can't hear you so well. Normally I hear you very well. Tonight you're whispering.
I always forget to do that. Hello?
Yes, now I got you.
Yes, I forgot to turn up my volume. Anyway, I'm going to read from verse 5 to verse 8. And it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraided not, and it shall be given thee. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavereth. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. There endeth the reading of the scripture. May the Lord add his richest blessings unto it. And God bless you and have a wonderful night.
Thank you very much, and thank you for taking the time and selecting a scripture and reading it for us. I sincerely appreciate you.
Okay, dear.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Welcome. Bye.
We continue to take your calls. 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call. And so for those, again, who want to be a part of the show this evening, this is a good time for you to take advantage of the opportunity, call in, and really develop your thoughts and your arguments. That's what this show is about. This is the opportunity for you. I normally use the first part of the show to engage in talking. Somebody said I'm talking to myself. Well, to engage and to give a soliloquy. This is my effort to sort of set the tone, set the pace, put whatever issues I may have on the table. But then when the lines open, the show is turned over to you, the members of the public, those who are here at home, those who are abroad. And I encourage you to call in. Now, the music festival in St. Kitts is happening. It's going to start tomorrow, Thursday, and it goes on till Saturday night. And then, of course, we move straight from the music festival into the Mango Festival in Nevis. I'm told that people are already arriving for both. Some are going to come for the music fest and stay for the Mango Fest. I am looking forward to people turning out and supporting both events. I think both events bring tremendous value to the Federation and to tourism in the Federation. I think both were very, very good ideas. I'm particularly pleased that the Mango Festival, I was and continue to be the Minister of Tourism that introduced the Mango Festival. I recall the discussions with Greg Phillip at the time, who was the chair of the, the CEO of the Nevis Tourism Authority. And I always give him credit because he was would come and brainstorm in terms of what we could do. And the idea of the Mango Festival was born out of that. And I gave it the fullest support. And so, Greg, if you're out there listening, take a bow. We're now into, I believe this year is the 12th year of the Mango Fest, and I certainly look forward to it growing from strength to strength. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I suggest you get your tickets and you come out and enjoy the various festivities. They're going to do, of course, the usual island tour where they stop in, the food tour where they stop in at various local eateries around the island. They also are going to have the supper club where they have a celebrity chef. I think that's at the Four Seasons at Mango Restaurant. And they're also going to have, of course, the immersive experience there at the MJR Park, where people come out and they're just really resplendent. I love to see our people when they're decked out, they're dressed up, and they come in to enjoy themselves. And we look forward certainly to our brothers and sisters from St. Kitts coming over. I got a contact tonight from someone from the BVI to say that several people from the BVI are coming. And I look forward to that. And it's a good thing because we still have mangoes. There's still some mangoes around. We had a season that started a bit early, but there's still mangoes around. And so unlike I think a few years ago when we ran out of mangoes because there were no mangoes on the trees, I am happy that mangoes are around now, so people should be able to really enjoy themselves. If those of you who are overseas and looking to come home and want to just relax, the Mango Festival is a brilliant time to do that. And if you have enough time, as I suggest, you do the Music Fest first. So you do the late nights and the dancing and the partying on St. Kitts from Music Fest, and then you come over and relax on Nevis and unwind and recharge for the Mango Fest. That's, I think, the vibe. And so we encourage you certainly to come. Now, I hope to attend the Music Fest in St. Kitts. I have made it a point to attend all the Music Fests that have happened since way back when we were up at the Fort Thomas Hotel. I don't know if many people remember when they were on the Fort Thomas grounds. They've gone to different places. But I have been there because I think it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor. And I give kudos to the federal government. They have maintained it. It is always at a very high standard. And for that, we are truly happy. I know that half of Nevis is probably going to be in St. Kitts. I am, of course, encouraging people to be safe, to drive safely, and to conduct themselves responsibly at all times. And then as half of us go over to St. Kitts, I'm expecting half of St. Kitts to come to Nevis for the Mango Festival as well. That is what we do as a country. We support each other, and that, I think, is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On The Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley. And again, we're taking your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. As we wait for the phones to ring, and we continue to have a discussion about a number of matters, I want to extend again condolences, and this time to I knew him. His Merchant is his surname. I think his first name was Kishon. I'm saying I think because I really knew him as Boogie. And we are advised that there was a tragic accident that claimed his life. I feel particularly aggrieved by this because I saw him at the drag racing, and he and I had a long conversation. And it's so terribly unfortunate. He was somebody who I could rely on. Whenever I needed a few things done, he would be the person that I would call, and he would get it done for me. And it was really sad to see a young life lost in that fashion. So to his dad, I want to extend my condolences, Ivor, if you're listening, and to the entire family, everybody there in Pond Hill, to my colleague Troy Liebert and the Liebert family, to my other colleague Stedman Truss, to all of you who are out there now mourning. I really want to extend my condolences. Sometimes when older people die, it is sad, but we kind of expect because they're sick, they're infirm, they're elderly. When young people lose their lives, especially in accidents, it is not expected, and so in those circumstances, it's doubly sad. So I just want to extend my own quota of condolences to the entire family. Ivor, we have spoken, but clearly I'm here. If there's anything that I can do, please let me know. So on behalf of all of us here at Vaughan Radio, and certainly on my own behalf, on behalf of my family and the government, I want to extend deepest condolences to the Merchant family right there in Pond Hill, and to the entire Pond Hill community on the loss of Boogie. We all knew him as that. I think, as I said, his correct name is Kishan Merchant, but everybody knew him as Boogie, and so I want to join in extending my condolences to the entire family. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 10 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. We continue to invite your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call. Now, while we wait for the phones to ring, let me just give a few more updates. In terms of the airport project, the team that is working on that project have advised that that project is about to have a groundbreaking. I think they're trying to set a date. And once that date is fixed, we will, of course, communicate that date. But the intention is to break ground shortly and then to proceed with the long-awaited construction at that facility. Let me take this call, and then I'll come back to that. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Miss Sheriff, man, alive but passed too.
Yes, I said condolences to her earlier. To the family, sorry, earlier.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So the airport project, we hope that that will be kicking off very shortly. We know that we've had some delays there, but we anticipate that we'll be in a position now to move forward with that. We had some delays on the land side of it because of financing. We had, of course, delay on St. Kitts in terms of guaranteeing the loan that we are securing from the Republic of China, Taiwan. I think that the Prime Minister and I have come to an understanding in relation to that, and so we anticipate that we can move forward now with the entire project. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
There are a few issues I want to talk to. First of all, I have not been on the radio for a long time because I didn't have any phone for quite a while.
Okay, well, we're happy to have you back.
The U.S. actions in the Caribbean against Venezuela and Cuba, I think too much of us are being silent about it. And I cried that Marco Rubio came to St. Kitts and we didn't even protest his presence in St. Kitts after what America has done to Cuba and doing to Venezuela and Cuba. We have a humanity gone. Appeal to the people of St. Kitts neighbors. Venezuela stood with us when the last crisis. Help us. We fail to open our mouth. We don't have to be violent. We should protest and say we don't like the policy. But we sit back and let Marco Rubio come and promise all kind of foolishness, and he go back like we agree with what he's doing. The second issue I want to deal with is it's now 10 years now since the OECS has established relationship with Guadeloupe and Martinique Defense Caribbean. I'm appealing to the OECS Commission in St. Lucia to establish a diplomatic presence in Guadeloupe. Every time I have a diplomatic issue, I have to go to the Dominican embassy. It's either that they try to improve or add staff to the Dominican embassy to handle OECS affairs, or to do the own thing. It's much cheaper to strengthen what Dominica is doing here than to start a new thing. But with the OECS need a presence with the OECS name on it. Because I am a person, have my rights abused, and who can I go to? There's not no recourse for justice. The lawyers, them are corrupt. The system is corrupt. Everything in the system and it's something different. Only through legal channels, I think these things could be handling, and I have no legal recourse without an embassy. None. And the third thing, one thing I want to talk about is I want to send some sympathy greetings, sympathy for the family of the late Malcolm Sargent. Malcolm Sargent is somebody who I grew up around. I think me and his sister represented Harrison School in 1979, the first ever primary school quiz competition. And so to hear Malcolm pass like that, really struck me, and I didn't have a chance to pass my condolences on to his family. And again, I want to make another appeal to the 4-H and to the Rotary Club. That is the 50th anniversary of the tragic boat race in 1976 on the 2nd of August. And I'm appealing for some kind of recognition be given to these three brave men, because they sacrificed, they were sporting heroes, and they should be recognized. And I'm calling on them to do such things right now as soon as possible. And the last again, it is 40 years now since the Garden at Sports when its first Premier Division Championship, and we also traveled to St. Martin and when the first OECS Club Championship in 1986. I'm calling the present head of Spurs right now to restore the museum, the one and only sports museum in the OSS, which I established in 2012, to restore that museum, and as a part of the celebration of the 40th anniversary of our winning in St. Kitts and St. Martin, to recognize all those people who contributed over the years. People like Poncho, people like Ken Martin, people like Casper was the coach and controller, Romick Fit, and all others. I feel that far too much we left out people. And then finally, I forget to salute the Honorable Conway Martin, Conway Maynard, who responsible for putting up the larger board. The board remained the same, but the Honorable Stan Conde failed to finance a large board for Buckley's. And Conway Maynard, I really want to thank you for stepping up as a youth when you just came into politics and funding the whole thing. When some Conde sitting down there and stand them and never contribute nothing to erecting a signboard in Buckley's. I'll go and get somebody get a chance after this, man. If you have any questions to ask me, I think I'll let's move.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call, and I always like when people use the opportunity to call and to ventilate the issues that they deem important to them. And so, caller, I want to thank you for taking advantage of the opportunity. Sometimes, people see me in the public and they say to me, oh, you should cut off this person or cut off that person, or that person shouldn't be allowed to call. And I said, no, everybody's allowed to call this show. And that, I think, is what sets this show apart. This show, people know who I am, they know who I support, they know what my politics is, but I give people an opportunity to speak. And my only requirement is that we try our very best not to be disrespectful. So thank you for sharing your views. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
I forgot to ask, when will Nevis be battling sarsaparilla to market to the Caribbean? There's a big marketing Guadeloupe for sarsaparilla. And I didn't want the fact that there's so much market opportunities in Guadeloupe and we're not exploiting them as an OECS nation. We need greater coordination between and exchanges. In French, we need to see more students coming to these places and having exchange and using up some of the availability resources that Guadeloupe have here that we can use to develop our students in peace-speaking, better French, and our farmers in trading. Sarsaparilla is needed. I would like to call on the Bureau, the Nevis Bureau, or Mount Nevis Bureau, to combine with some of the local sarsaparilla makers and produce a product that could sell throughout the Caribbean. Too long, sarsaparilla has been just a drink that is not being official. But Woodboy come on the market, take over the market.
Yeah, Woodboy, where you are as well?
Yeah, that news up Woodboy down here in Guadeloupe.
Oh yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And the Magnum and all things. So I need to see sarsaparilla being officially labeled. I mean, we have a market of 500,000 people here. 1/10 of the population could do good within a market for blossom. Don't talk about agriculture. There's so much agriculture product. Because if people other things, fish from Indonesia, yam from Costa Rica, we could produce these things and attach this market here in Guadeloupe. And I think that we are sleeping in terms of that. Give thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I think you make a good point about the market. I know, for example, there are some business entrepreneurs here, some business people here, who are seeking valiantly to get the necessary permits to sell product into Guadeloupe and into the French Islands. And I myself have spoken about opportunities that I think exist in St. Bart's, which is closer to us than Guadeloupe is. So, Cole, I agree with you. I just think sometimes the red tape, we have to deal with all kinds of restrictions at times, but you make the very valid point that Guadeloupe, as part of the OECS construct, we should be able to have access. I was in St. Lucia recently, and I should tell you I was pleasantly surprised to hear from a St. Lucian that they get a high number of visitors from Martinique who come to St. Lucia. They come to party, they come to play golf, there seems to be a high level of interaction between Martinique and St. Lucia, as I know there's a high level of interaction between Guadeloupe and Dominica. But I share your view that we have opportunities right here in the Caribbean for more trade, more visitation, more tourism, and we really do need to capitalize on that. I can tell you that as far as Nevis is concerned, in the context of travel, I have said to the Nevis Tourism Authority that we definitely need to try to do more to see how we can appeal to not only St. Bart's but also to Guadeloupe, Martinique and the French Islands, because I feel at the end of the day that we have a product that they may want and that they will enjoy, and I do think that they too have a product that we will enjoy. Maybe on the next occasion when you call, you can let us know what life is like for you in Guadeloupe and whether you are able to speak the language. Maybe you should call in and you know, let me ask you if you parlez-vous français, you know, because it's interesting to hear that you're from here, living there, and I'll be curious to know how you're getting through. It is 22 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. We continue to take your calls, 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Let's go straight back to the phones. Good evening, caller. You're on the mark.
Mark, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Mark, I live for peace. And he got a fella across the road. Every minute I got a call, Netflix for them.
Mm-hmm.
The man then finished the house, but they got a wire from the pole, go up on a thing, and for going to do the work. And every minute the wire dropping off the pole.
Mm-hmm.
And people living around the area. Right now the wire off. Anybody could get shocked there right now.
So do you call Nevlek?
Mark the man come home and the man see what it, and the man gone in and left it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just so. If I call Netflix, I want Netflix take half it from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because people life at stake. You come home, you see it. You ain't do nothing about it. You ain't care about nobody life. Huh? I must call, tell me the truth if I must call Netflix again.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but sometimes even though people are irresponsible, we need to be responsible. And since you say that it is a danger, suppose a little child were to come along there, you may be able to save a life by calling Nevlek.
Mark are tired. Look, right now we garbage bin, they still by me. Come home and see the breeze flowing over by me. And think even a pull the garbage bin as much. Even a move that as much. Not just a call Netflix with the wire what drop down. Right now the wire they drop down there. Anybody could get shocked. It can cause death right now.
All right. What I'm going to do is once I get off the air, I know where you live. I'm going to give Nevlek a call myself, and I think that as neighbors we need to clearly look out for each other. So I hear your frustration, but again, I still encourage all of us to do the right thing. So if somebody in the neighborhood isn't doing the right thing, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And again, just to encourage our people to always be on the right side and do the right thing. Others may not, but we should. This is On the Mark. Again, my name is Mark Brantley. Some people may have been tuning in late. And so if you have tuned in late, I am happy to welcome you. As the host of the show, I've been here with you for a long time. You knew me when my beard was black. It is now gray. So in a way, we've grown up together. And I say that it's sort of a light moment. But I will tell you that I met a youngster the other day who was in his, I think he was early 20s. And he said to me that he did not know me, had never met me, but he knows my voice so well. He knows my mannerisms. He knows the things that I say. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he said, because he lives abroad, grew up there, born there, grew up there. He said, but his grandmother listened to this show every Wednesday without fail. So he said he always grew up hearing my voice. And I thought that was quite interesting to see a young man telling me that. So I thank his grandmother, and I thank all of those who have been loyal to this show for so many, many years. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello.
Good night, Honorable.
Good night, my brother. Thank you for calling.
Yes, I said let me call you and ask you, give me the meaning of this word. How do you wear something? I say, colonialism, this white man talk. Tell me the meaning of it.
Colonialism?
Yeah.
Well, I think colonialism describes the effort by the colonial masters. In our instance, it was the British, the English, to dominate these colonies, because that's what we were. We were pretty much controlled by them, and to create a sort of legacy that allows them, in some instances, even today, to continue to exercise control and to extract benefit. And so when people talk about colonialism, as how these countries were structured, how they were set up, how they were designed to oppress certain people and to elevate other people. This was a colonial mindset that had been instilled here. It came about in terms of the institutions, it came about in terms of the education system. All of this was calculated and put into effect. It wasn't done happenstance or by random. It, of course, is an offshoot of slavery, because we would have had slavery before, and slavery, of course, after that ended. We had the colonial masters putting in place certain rules that in many instances still hamper us to this very day. So that is my understanding. Of course, there's been lots of literature on it, lots of studies, historians, people far more knowledgeable than I would have documented it, but I think broadly it describes how the colonial powers of the day, in the French territories it will be France, clearly in the English territories it would have been England, but how they would have imposed their way of life and their systems on these islands and territories and countries, because it happened in Africa as well, happened in the Middle East and in Asia, how they imposed their systems, and through their systems, through their laws, through the entire design, they perpetuated a particular type of society where they, of course, extracted the benefits, and we, the people who are here, were the ones who paid the price. So that is my understanding, caller.
Okay, why I asked you that question? I will ask you this question. Like how people come in and live in Nevis.
Yes.
Like how I do come and live in Tatola and get children in the BVN, and people get children in Nevis.
Yes.
And the born in Nevis. As a leader, at the children them born, would you, as a leader, deny them from getting a password in the place that they born?
No, sir. No. If you're born in Nevis, you're Nevision. If you're born in Nevis, you get a Singis Nevis passport, and you're Nevision, your naval stringberry here, just like mine.
Would you have them going through the process in getting time where they're born?
No, you can't get time where you're born. Where you're born is where you're born. I don't understand that. You're saying someplace else they have to apply for time even though they're born there?
Yes. That's and they don't like me sit down and speak about.
So where's that happening in the BVI?
Yes.
What?
Telling you
I didn't know that. I've never heard that before.
I tell you.
So let me understand. So if you're born in Tortola, and what is it? Your parents are not from there, is that it?
Yes, if your parents is not from here, you gotta go through a lot of process. You got to be you belong as a resident and all of them kind of thing.
Interesting.
You know, and you don't hear no politician in the house stand up against this kind of issue. You understand?
But I'm surprised at that, because whenever I go to the BVI, I am amazed at how many people in the BVI are from other islands: St. Kitts, Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica. So why is it that the politicians aren't sensitive to that issue? I'm curious.
No, they try to blame England into this kind of thing. But in England, as I tell you, it is somehow we black, but we got white people mentality in our heart for we own brother and sister. And I tell you straight, who want to get back with me, I speak in this naturally. You know Honorable Myron Walwyn.
Yes, man, I know him well.
Born here, his parents from Nevis. His father from Nevis. His mother from Antigua. You know, in the BVI, he's a good politician. They're telling you plain out, his parents is not from here. So they don't want him to lead, to be premier of the BVI. That's my thing where I ask you this question today as a leader. If you will go on that road with that kind of behavior.
No, man, that would not even be acceptable here. I don't think any leader here would go down that road. If you're born here, your vision, your petition, that is our standard. So that is surprising to me to hear that is happening. I will really be curious as to why that's the case, because that just seems to me to be odd, very odd.
And I will let you know that the public here who listening to me, you know, and the Constitution, they have to go to England and deal with the Constitution. You know, they vote him out in a position that he cannot go to England, because they say that when he go out there, he will be standing up for us who came to the BVI and our children. But we have some children here who know these issues and they don't stand up and fight against it. And I don't want to always stand up and fight against it. It really, this is a passion for me where we are as black people, we come here and our children have to pass to this country. Sometimes the children will come from back home. You know, it will have some children who went back home with their parents and graduate, come big, and say, let me go back to Tatola. You know, they have to get time. They have to go through this kind of thing as born. And it have program where you hear some, I call them halfer, have some who is father from here, mother from here, and some of them uphold this kind of behavior. This kind of behavior, like a child who born in St. Thomas and a child who born People's Hospital here in the BVI. They'll tell you like them being on the right, even the past, the board papers that people and the child of born St. Thomas got more right over the child of born here. And when you stand up against the people back, sometimes even your own child, or even your own child who born here by some of us from overseas, okay, don't stand up against these things, and which I tell them, if the people in America never used to stand up to Trump to a lot of things won't change. A lot of things won't change. But because the custom playing out, the custom again in footwork and won't say nothing, it continue. You don't hear no politician in the house standing up towards these things. They try to blame England, but in England, it's themselves who want to get vexed with me to say, I tell you plain out, this was happening here in the BVI, making you feel uncomfortable. You know what to say on the radio too? A lot of us who go up here, if they go independent, we who from them other country cannot vote into the independent. We have no right at all. So they're telling us our belongings, our naturalization don't mean nothing to them. And when you voice opinion, a lot of them get vexed about it. And this is a passion for me. It makes you feel uncomfortable where you grow up. That they only want you for the vote alone. So
if people can vote, that's what I'm not understanding. Because if you have the right to vote, why would the politicians not take those issues on? It seems a disconnect to me. So who can vote in the BVI? Only belongers?
Listen, the belongers, we can vote. But certain things, that's why I tell them, they're going out England to the Constitution, and some of them who are part of the team, you understand, ain't going to support us who come here and live. They will find themselves shut out, even to the children. You know, you got a lot that have children. If they met 21 years after 2007, they won't be able to vote in the country where they're born.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes, serious. It's just a kind of thing. What's going on here? People, sometimes it'll be sick. Because foreign people support this kind of behavior.
So you're saying there are people who are coming from other islands who support that?
Some of them are supporting the vex when you talk about some of them. I tell you, even to your own children who know about these things, we never stand up. I tell you, got some parents born here, some parents born here. If you hear some talk shows, you hear some of them kick up thinking against it. Like you children were born here by us, because which I can tell you this, the national song that the BVI have now was written by mine two children.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who sang this song is Brantley Watley's daughter.
Okay.
And the person who arranged the song is a Dominican. And you know, when this was dealing with this national song, they didn't want the song being passed because the father and the mother ain't from here in the BVI.
But the child born there?
The child born here. Okay? These people going to hear what I'm going to say this plain out, because it bothers me where children born here. You have that kind of behavior with them, and my two children them. And you know who get that song passed in the house? Honorable Myron Walwyn went in the house and debated. And the government are today at the long time by Mr. Ralph O'Neill and them who vote against it. People who teach me in school vote against it because they say the father and the mother ain't from it. They want a song passed. But Honorable Myron Walwyn and his party, NDPs, who get that song passed. That national song. I tell you plain out. And people here is not standing up towards, and the children is not standing up towards this kind of thing, because they're going up England to do the new constitution, and the children then wouldn't realize they will be shut out for some of them who going on the team. Certain things they will can't do in the BVI where they're born, and they don't realize that, Honorable Matt.
Well, you've said a lot tonight. I'm hopeful that if there are other people out there from the BVI who could shed some more light, I would really welcome this. I wasn't aware of much of what you've said. I assumed that if people were born in the BVI, then they're BVI landers. But you're suggesting that that is not necessarily the case. What I can say is that whoever is born in Nevis or St. Kitts is automatically a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. So
sometimes before you leave, sometimes listen, people come to me and tell me. Sometimes grandmother tell me that a guy go to St. Martin with the child to come back in. Come back in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that, you know, that's why I asked you to give me the meaning of the word. Because the premier and them using this word.
So they're saying that it is the UK that is causing that problem.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
But it's the UK because they had a chance to the COI to change certain things, and they block it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you the truth, who want to get vexed with me saying it, I tell you plain out, because it hurt me the way how you treated the children who are born here. I don't care what type of children it is. They feel, Brother Mac, that the country going to stay how it is. You listen to United States. You got Filipino children who born in the United States, the senators, they feel like you come here, you won't be mixed. the country will be the same. You think the country will be the same? Navy is going to be the same?
Well, you know, yes, things
Have
things change as people come in. You know, it's inevitable. I'm sure even people from around the islands who went to the BVI, your people would have ended up intermarrying and having children, and you know that's just the nature of life.
then who will carry on the battle? Here you will have some children will Filipino born they will be standing up for Nevis. People going up to represent Nevis. But the people here don't meant to try and feel it's a part of the country.
I got you.
You know, but I ain't gonna hold up the line, but that's what I tell you, the word that I tell you, give it the meaning. Give it the meaning. And the leaders them here using it. But T-Mex and them put to use it. Because there's a part of the same behavior in this place. So you don't like what I said, too bad.
All right, my brother.
Right there. Good night, my brother.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the call. I gave you the time to develop your points, and I must say that you've given me a lot of food for thought, because I never knew some of the things you're suggesting. If there are others out there who are familiar with the system in the BVI, the system of citizenship and belongership, it would be interesting to hear from them. Do we have somebody else holding? Okay, so thank you very much, caller. Will we continue to take your calls? Please feel free to interrupt me, but while I wait for the phones to ring, I'll continue just to update in relation to the airport. So we anticipate that we'll have a groundbreaking very soon. I think the team is working on that, and we hope to have a date on that. We're finalizing agreements at this point, and we hope to be able to push off and to move forward with that project. It's going to be a huge project for the island. It's going to generate a significant level of work, particularly for our heavy equipment operators, our truckers and the like. And so it is our desire to get that project done. That project dovetails very nicely with the Destiny project that we've been talking about, where we're still very optimistic that we'll get that project off the ground. That project promises to be over $1 billion in investment over the course of the project. Somebody accosted me some time ago and said that they thought that 7,000 to 10,000 residents in that area and introduced to Nevis would be too much. And they genuinely felt that 7,000 to 10,000 people will descend on Nevis tomorrow. I had to just, provide some guidance to them and to say, no, the 7,000 to 10,000 estimate is over the life of the project, not tomorrow. If they come tomorrow, where they're going to live, where they're going to function, the reality is that they need to build out the infrastructure. So just think about it. They need to be able to build the roads, put in their water system, because they're responsible for that, put in the electricity system, they're responsible for that, put in their sewage systems. They have to then build accommodation, because where people are going to live. So by any measure, this project is a very long-term project. And I like to use the Four Seasons as the best example that we have in Nevis. And the Four Seasons have been with us for 35 years. And they're now building out their last part of the Four Seasons. So interesting enough, it has taken them 35 years to now be doing the last phase, the final phase. So I want, again, some people have sort of jumped on these things to try and create fear. We're talking about people being added to the community over a very long period of time as the project is built out. Because this project cannot, simply because of the scale of it, be built out in just a few years. It is a long-term project, and that is one of the reasons why I find it so attractive, because I anticipate that it will be generating activity, generating economic activity, generating jobs, generating opportunities for our truckers, our carpenters, our contractors, for our accountants and our hotel workers, our hotel managers, our chefs, our IT people over the long term. If you go out as a contractor and you build somebody's house for them, that may be a 6-month job, maybe if it's a bigger house, a 12-month, maybe even bigger, an 18-month job. But once that job is done, that's it. You then have to go to look for the next job. Imagine now if you're working on a site that is talking about construction for the next 20 years and what that represents, that you could pretty much be working, doing what you do, doing what you love, but not being worried about having to hop from job to job or trying to find something else because of the scale of these projects. But I mentioned the project because it dovetails into what we're doing with the airport. The airport is going to allow us to have greater airlift, greater direct traffic. In order to do that, you need people. One of the problems we had when we had some other airlines coming in, we had Tradewind, we had another airline, the name eludes me now, but there's something that was coming from Puerto Rico. And the big problem that we had was they were simply saying not enough people are flying. Not enough people are flying. The population doesn't support some of this activity. Then we have geothermal. Geothermal is promising to revolutionize the island, the cost of power, the fact that it will be renewable energy. But who's going to consume that power? Who's going to buy that power? Even when we've supplied all of Nevis and all of St. Kitts, we're still going to have power left over. So you're now again talking about significant development being able to buy some of that energy and make that project far more worthwhile, far more marketable. So that is even before we're talking about export of energy to neighboring islands. Antigua has expressed an interest, but I'm sure that the Europeans would want energy to save and station those as well. But imagine you have here a significant development that is also saying, hey, we'll take energy from you because, again, under the law, up to 70% of their energy has to be renewable. Let's go back to the phones. It is 14 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Good evening. Mr. Premier, when are you going to let the people of Nevis have like a town hall meeting with Mr. Jensen?
When am I going to let them have the meeting with Mr. Jensen?
Yes.
I'm not in control of that, ma'am.
You're not in control as if the people of Nevis should have a meeting with Mr. Jensen?
No, I'm not in control. I'm in control of the people of Nevis having a meeting with me and the government, and we've done that.
Okay, let me bring you back to your meeting in New York.
Yes.
You made mention that you met with some of the committee members or some of these organizations that were put in place.
What committee member? No, I'm sorry. What committee members organization are you talking about?
You made mention of this. There were some committees put in place for the destiny, to look at the destiny proposal.
I said the federal government.
Of a few.
No, perhaps I was misunderstood. I said the federal government put in place a committee. We did not put in place a committee in Nevis. What we had in Nevis was a series of engagements with persons in terms of various groups. We met with the church, we met with the police, we met with the opposition, etc.
Etc. Nowhere along you said that you would meet with the landowners. I haven't heard of any meetings with the landowners.
No, I have not met with the landowners. No.
Why is that? Why is that not so?
Well, the landowners were entitled to attend any of the meetings that we had. We did not consider that we needed to meet specifically with landowners.
So you don't think you're selling destiny and looking to buy some of the prime lands? You don't think that the landowners are a vital part, that you can sit and have a meeting with them, the landowners? But you don't think that
but of course, but I'm would love to meet with everybody. I'm simply saying that we did not arrange a specific meeting with the landowners, but the landowners were free to come to any meeting that we had.
That is totally unacceptable. Don't you think with this destiny program or this destiny thing coming up, that the landowners, if I could use the term, are the foundation of this project? So why is there no meeting with the landowners?
But nobody's saying it can't. I'm simply saying that
I really think that they should have been first in place.
Well, that is your thought and you're entitled to it. I am just explaining to you, ask me a question. I'm not saying you have to accept my answer, but I'm explaining to you that when we set up these meetings, we met with various stakeholder groups, the landowners. Many of the landowners aren't even in Nevis. So we did not decide that we would meet with landowners because we figured that the landowners who were interested could come to the meetings that we had. That's what I'm saying. You're saying we should have had a specific meeting. That's your view, and you're entitled to it.
You realize what you just said, that you don't think that the landowners would have been able to come to the meeting, but yet you were expecting them to come to the meetings that you had in Nevis?
Caller, I said to you, caller, I said to you, please listen. I said to you that many of the landowners aren't even in Nevis. That is what I said to you. Those who are in Nevis or those who wanted to fly into Nevis to meet at any of our town hall meetings were free to do so. I'm simply responding to your suggestion that we should have had a specific meeting with landowners, and I've said to you that we did not contemplate having such a meeting.
Okay, I don't know if I missed out, but where are we with the destiny? I don't know if I missed out because I got distracted.
Well, we're still waiting for the federal government to give us their views on it. We expect that is going to happen imminently. The matter should have been at their cabinet this week. It didn't happen. We anticipated it would be there next week. And so we're waiting for a positive response so that this project can move forward.
You're waiting for a positive response?
Yes.
That doesn't sound too positive. Have a good night.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm not sure what doesn't sound positive about a positive response. But how much more positive can you get if you're waiting for a positive response? They have to consider it, caller. It's going to their cabinet. I'm not a member of their cabinet. I can't tell you what they're going to say. And all I can tell you is what I've said. We are waiting for a positive response. So let's get that response. Let's get this project going. And caller, I'm pretty sure that the people of Nevis will be the beneficiaries, just as we were of other major projects that have come and that have benefited this island. As I said, I'm looking for long-term development. I'm looking for development that will propel this island forward and development that will dovetail into other things that we're doing, like our airport, like our geothermal project, and that will help us to build a Nevis that we leave better than we met it. There are many of us who are at a stage now where we have lived our lives. So what we're doing now has to be about those who are coming up. Those 300 youngsters that I keep talking about who graduate from school each year, those who are away, who want to come home to make a contribution, we have to start to think about those. How do we provide for them and create opportunity for them? And I'm open to ideas. I'm not suggesting that I have a monopoly on ideas, but this is the single largest investment in the history of the country that we're trying to get on the way. And whilst I entirely appreciate that people have different views on it, I still feel that it is something that allows the people of Nevis, allows Nevis to progress. If we look at what Four Seasons has been able to do, and we start to multiply that a few times in our head, we start to get a sense of what we can do over, say, the next 20 years, 25 years with a project of this magnitude. Let's go back to the phones and continue. I'm sorry, caller, please call back in. We have about 8 minutes left, so we can take a few calls for sure. 6 minutes, it looks like. Sorry, that we can take some calls, so please, if you can call back in. But caller, I think that these discussions are useful. We will always have differences of opinion. That is all right. That's what democracy is about. So you feel that we should have met with Tom, Dick, or Harry. I say, well, I met with Steve, Susie, and Mary. And, you know, we have a difference there. But the question I think that you ought to ask yourself is, were people afforded an opportunity to engage? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And whilst you put the onus on the government to meet with landowners, the landowners as well, if they so desired, could have asked for a meeting with government. That hasn't happened, but I think in large measure is because, as I said, a majority of those landowners are not even here in Nevis. Many of the landowners are abroad. Even some who are here are only part owners, and so the other owners of lands are abroad. So it would really have been an interesting exercise to get together with landowners to even sort of how we get them together. But at the end of the day, let us remember, because you said something about selling land and whatever, that these are private lands. And if you own land in that area, caller, and you decide to sell your land, that's a matter for you. For you and your lawyers, you and your advisors, because it's a private transaction between you and them. The government is not involved in your transaction. The government cannot tell you to sell or not to sell. The government cannot tell you how much to sell for. We can't determine your price. We can't determine your terms. Those are up to you. And I kept stressing that because, of course, one of the first lies that was being told is that somehow the government was involved in the sale or the purchase of these lands. One fellow called me and said to me that he understood that the government would be taking away people's lands to give to these people. And these are just some of the lies. Of course, the 6 square miles, you can't go in the sea, you can't go to the beach, you can't this, you can't that. The lies have come fast and furious. And as one is dispelled, another one comes up. As I said earlier tonight, the latest is the 14-foot wall and the 5% of the jobs. It just keeps coming. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening. We have 5 minutes left. You're on the mark.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Stone Williams, a.k.a. Stoneman. I understand. I heard you speaking to a caller in reference to the landholders. You see, Mr. Brantley, the problem I have with you is that you tell too much lies. We had a conversation and you said it's not in your place to have a meeting with the landholders. Do you remember that conversation?
Go ahead, caller. We are almost out of time, so make your point quickly.
No, I'm asking you, do you remember the conversation?
I tend not to remember my conversation with you.
Sorry?
I tend not to remember my conversation with you. I apologize.
Very convenient.
Yes.
Anyhow, you have a good night.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's exactly why I tend not to remember, caller, because there's usually nothing memorable. So thanks for calling, but you know, I'm going to forget it about again tomorrow because you really don't usually say anything that's memorable. You constantly call in and ask if I remember this and if I remember that and if I remember the other. If you're going to call the radio station, make your point. Just say what it is you're calling about and let us move on. You keep trying to do this memory lane story and try to have some got you moment because you say that you remember something was said here or something was said there. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're calling in the radio station, as the lady just called, she made her point and she moved on. You do the same. That's why the program is here. But stop asking me if I remember this and remember that, because you have been trying for weeks to find some gotcha moment. It's not going to happen. So let us agree to just move on. If you don't have anything to contribute to the show, you don't need to call. You can listen. All right? All right, my brother. Thanks for the call. We have 2 minutes left. We have somebody on the phone. Let's take this call very quickly. Caller, you have to be quick. We're out of time. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I was wondering if Four Seasons had to sell passports to the project.
The Four Seasons is a CBI project, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we probably, let me see what time it is. I have 3 different clocks. We have 3 minutes left based on iPhone time. 3 minutes left. So, we continue to take a call or two. I think we can get 1 or 2 people calling in quickly. It would be great to hear what they have to say. But certainly, I think this show has been interesting tonight. Again, some people wait until the last minute to call. And that's why I keep saying, if you call early, you have ample opportunity to develop your point. I'm not running anybody. I'm not chasing anybody. But some people who use the show to try to score a point, it's kind of hard. You know, I'm a good goalkeeper. You're going to have difficulty scoring. I keep like how the Curacao keeper is keeping in the World Cup. You know, so stop this thing about got you. And some people figure that, I don't know what it is they figure, but if you're going to call this show, I've been doing this for a little while, just come and state your point. And stop this nonsense about if you remember this and if you remember that. Because as I said, I only remember memorable things. And so if it is you're not contributing anything, then I'm not going to remember. It's just as simple as that. The final call for the evening. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Livingstone Williams.
Yes, you have a minute.
Again.
Yes.
Now, the reason for me for calling is to show everybody the liar you are. That is the main reason, because you perfectly remember that conversation.
Okay, Mr. Williams, please understand. I will not allow you to call this show to call me a liar. You don't know me and I don't know you like that. I have never disrespected you, and you will not disrespect me. You do not have to call this show. You can decide to call other shows. If you're going to call this show, then you conduct yourself as a sensible individual. Okay? I have been talking about it, saying we have a duty to conduct ourselves in a particular way. And I will not take kindly to you calling me a liar because of your nonsense about whether I remember a conversation. I don't remember a thing about you, other than your name, the Stone Man. Okay? Because I think the Stone Man is a very interesting name for you. So, please let us desist from that. Let us desist from trying to insult and call each other names, because I have never lied to you. I have no reason to lie to you. As I said, I know very little about you other than you are the Stone Man. Okay? So, you take it easy. Have a good night. Rest yourself. And then, if some other show will tolerate that language from you, then that's all right. But please be assured you do not need to call On The Mark, because On The Mark is a big platform that has existed a long time without you, and we will continue to exist without you. Okay? So let's just agree to disagree. But don't start calling this show and trying to attack me by calling me a liar. I'm not going to put up with that. You and I don't pitch marbles together. All right? This is our show, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank everybody who called. And for those who actually made a contribution, I value that contribution and I say thank you very much. For those who are just trying to hurl insults, this is not the place. You have to find your place, and this is not that place. Okay? Thank you. The band has struck up. It means we have to go. That's our show. So, good night to everyone. Enjoy your music festival. Please be safe on the roads and have fun. And thank you for tuning in tonight. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow right here on Von Radio at 1 p.m. That's our show. Good night and God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views